And I cannot tell you the number of people who used to scold me about not going to church. Oh, you should really be going to church. Oh, why aren't you at church? Because, Kevin, I had to make your fucking latte. What do you mean, why am I not at church? Stop. Why are you frequenting a location that requires people to work when they're supposed to be in church? How does that make any sense? Welcome back. Happy Tuesday to all of the turkeys out there. It is another episode of Nonsexual Soulmates. In fact, people, this is episode 21. That means our podcast can drink now. So in honor of that and in honor of my new mommy friend, I will be drinking a Paloma. And I know that drinking a Paloma in honor of my new mommy friend sounds a little bit ridiculous, but just hear me out. Kayla is the one that introduced me to the Paloma and is the first person and only person I've ever taken a tequila shot with. And it was a signature drink at her wedding. So it all fits. Anyway, cheers. Woo! Okay. Well, like I said, welcome back. It's episode 21. I'm Kailey, and my dear co-host Kayla is taking her maternity leave. So we are sending her thoughts, prayers, good vibes for her nips, and hopefully overall peaceful times with new baby at home. But to those of you out there who are moms, new moms, mom adjacent, I'm sure you know just as well as anyone that there'll be some ups and downs and bumps along the way, but we know Kayla's got this.
Hello, Kayla here. I am still on maternity leave, and I just wanted to pop in again, give y'all a quick little Caden postpartum pregnancy update for you guys. So I'm still involved, so y'all can hear from me since Kaylee's holding on the fort. Last week I talked about how we were not unfortunately able to prep a whole lot postpartum because he came a month early, which we're so grateful that he did, because now that he's here I can't imagine still being pregnant. But thank goodness my mom and I did all that meal prepping before he came. I think Kailey and I touched on this very slightly several episodes ago, but basically how I was meal prepping, stocking our freezer with a bunch of frozen meals, lactation muffins, soups, chili, really hearty, nutritious, warming foods, because that's going to be the best to like heal your body and to replenish all the nutrients that you've expended during pregnancy, during birth, and during breastfeeding. So I just have to say, meal prep has changed my life. It changed the game. I need to continue to do this after I get out of the season, because it's literally greatest. Kailey has in the past helped me meal prep for the week, and that was super, super helpful. I need to continue to do this after we get out of this season, because it's been so nice. Sorry, you're gonna have to cut that part out. So yeah, meal prepping has been so nice. I will literally take out a bag of soup or whatever we've made, some chili, and Kenny doesn't have to worry about cooking anything. All he has to do for the first couple weeks was heat it up and bring it to me. Now I'm able to walk around a bit more, so that's not a problem at all. But I would say, if you're pregnant out there, do a meal prep, or even if you're not pregnant, meal prepping is key. And I hope Kailey is going to talk about her meal preps and cooking with Kailey, because she is amazing at it, and I need to learn more from her, because I'm very jealous and my mind doesn't work like that all the time, but I need to do better. Regardless, that has been so game changing because you need to eat so much postpartum to recover and breastfeed because you need way more extra calories while you're breastfeeding. And so I find myself so hungry during the day. And the other thing I'll say is accept help and accept meals from others. I have been so lucky to have some friends and our neighbors, and both of our families bring us food and cook for us. Do not ever say no to anyone doing that because it is so nice and helpful. I will say for anyone else out there, and you don't know until you're in it. Again, we've talked about this in the past. All of my friends who've gotten pregnant recently, I probably could have done way better as far as like helping them, as far as reaching out or not reaching out or visiting with them. But now that we have had our baby and we are in the postpartum season, I have 3 tidbits that are super helpful. One is the verbiage of how you would ask some like a new mom or just a mom in general who's just had her baby. Instead of saying, "Do you want us to bring you any food?" A lot of the times, at least I am the type of person that's like, "Oh, it's okay. Like, we're good. I appreciate it." Whereas if you say, "Hey, I'm going to bring you food. Let me know what day works for you." And it kind of helps us accept that because of course I want your food and I don't want to cook and I would love to accept your food, but I don't ever want to inconvenience anyone. So the way you ask someone is so helpful. When you come over to drop the food off, ask the mom, "Do you want me to just drop it off on the porch or let her like invite you in?" And if she does invite you in, focus on her and make sure you ask her how she's doing before you say, "Hey, can I hold your baby?" Because I have found postpartum that sometimes I don't want to let go of my child that I just birthed out of my body that was inside of me for 8 months, almost 9 months. Sometimes I just want you to hang out with me instead of immediately, like, obviously I want you to meet my son and hang out with him and meet him, but focus on the mom first and then ask permission if you want to, meet the baby, or let her say, "Hey, do you want to hold him while I go to the bathroom or take a shower?" That's just one of my other tidbits. And the last one is, what was the last one? Maybe there's only 2. Mom brain is in effect, so we're only going to do 2 today. I'm also struggling, if you can hear it in my voice. Not sure, potentially getting slightly sick. Lack of sleep can do that to you. Anyway, so that's my thing. I say meal prep is a game changer, and if you have any friends or family that are offering you food or to cook for you, accept it without any guilt. And to all of you people on the outside of things and have friends who are freshly, what's the word I'm looking for? Who have freshly given birth, ask them when you can bring food. Give the mom attention first and then the baby if she wants you to. And don't be offended if she's like, "Just leave it at the door." Sometimes I don't have the energy. I just want you to drop it off at the door. I will, be so thankful for it, and you can meet him and we can hang out in a little bit, but maybe that day and that week is just not the time. So that's all for me. I'm losing my voice, so we're going to pass this back over to Kailey. And I miss you all, my turkey tots. That's going to be our new thing, my new thing. Kailey, you can say turkey tots if you like that. I just really, it just rolls off the tongue. Anyway, I miss y'all. Hopefully we'll come back to our normal Kayla podcast style in a little bit. But until then, hope y'all are doing well, and turkey tots to you later. No. Gobble you later. Okay.
So, again, sorry. It's just me. Y'all got to deal with it. But as I promised, when Kayla returns, we shall have the birth story, updates, good times, and I'll keep my trap shut so she can make up for you guys missing her. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so upon our return to another episode, I've got questions. And this time, I need to know from you guys, do you have a favorite coffee shop? And I don't know, do you have a favorite drink? Do you have like the huge that you always get? I feel like a lot of people do. I don't really, but I think, as I've mentioned, it's probably because I used to work at a coffee shop and I don't know. I couldn't drink caffeine for so long. So I also just think I'm like re-entering the caffeine world. But do you have one? Is there something that's your go-to order? Are you a iced coffee no matter the season? Or are you one of the, I think iced coffee is disgusting, what's wrong with you people? Tell me the tales. Coinciding with that, I need to know, do you ever just feel like you're retaining absolutely useless piece of shit time wasting information? I don't know if this is everybody or if my brain just catalogs stuff that need not be cataloged. I'm trying to think of some good examples. I mean, I think it's normal for people to memorize, music and song lyrics. I know not everybody's a word person, so probably not everybody memorizes lyrics with the same amount of efficiency. I feel like Kayla probably memorizes like beat types because she has more of a music producey brain than for sure me. Anyway, but I feel as though I retain information that is stupid. Example number 1, I think I know the make and model of every vehicle of everyone that I consider myself to be friends with that lives in my geographic location where I've seen their vehicle through no intention of memorizing it. I also think, I'm not going to do it, but I think that I could name off every vehicle of all my previous coworkers. I don't know what's wrong with me. But in keeping with my first question of do you have a regular drink, I still know so many of my Starbucks customers' regular drinks, and I don't know why my brain can't dump this information in lieu of something more, I don't know, useful, helpful, relevant. Anyway, let me see if I can list them off in rapid succession. I think it's going to be hard because I wish there was a way for me to see these people in a lineup, because if I had like 50 of them lined up, I could probably tell you the beverage, but I'm going to mentally try to think of their name and then think of their drink. Hopefully it doesn't require me to say their name to do it. Okay, I'm going to start with Jason's because they're easy. Double tall mocha, no whip, sometimes whip, usually half the pumps. Next, venti unsweetened black iced tea. Excuse me, venti half sweetened black iced tea. I'm already fucking this up. I had a tall white mocha with 2 raw sugars in a venti cup with extra caramel drizzle and whipped cream filled all the way to the top. This would be a hot beverage. And then seasonally, the white mocha would change to a caramel brulee. I next have a grande from back in the day chocolate smoothie with extra protein powder and extra ice in a venti cup because the extra ice would make it expand. Next, I have a venti extra foam 2 raw sugar cappuccino. Next, I have a grande in a for here cup extra dry cappuccino. And by extra dry, I mean I only want the liquid in this cup to be espresso, and then I want you to scoop all the rest of it out. Next, venti no foam chai tea latte. If there is even one bubble of foam on the top, I will send it back. Next, anything with 2 sweet and low and 1 equal. That was just like a thing this one person used to do. So weird. Let me think of some other people's names and faces. I'm like slowly losing these customers after I made this big deal about how I retain all of this information. Oh man. Ooh, I definitely had a venti unsweetened green iced tea with 2 equals. He was weird. And then I had a venti with room coffee, not for cream, just for spillage. And then he wanted a venti cup of ice. And then he used to tell me that I made the perfect water to ice ratio. And I thought he was fucking with me, but apparently he wasn't. But for the longest time, I was like, okay, bro. Okay, let me just think about these other people's. I don't know. These so far are the most iconic of the icons. And I don't know if I've said this before in the past, but we had a lot of bougie regulars, and I think it was just because of the median socioeconomic status of the location in which my Starbucks was. And if I'm being honest, there were a handful of them that were absolute delights. There is actually one couple that my husband and I still see as regulars at the brewery that we go to, and I just think they're so charming. I remember them vividly from when they were customers, and they were just non-invasive and just sweet. And now that we get to see them like outside, I don't know, it's just kind of fun. I also feel like they're a little bit my idols because they just seem like they've been together a long time and they really like each other and they have fun, and I don't know, it just looks like the retired life that I want to have. Oh, I also met this couple and they were so interesting. I wish that I could have recorded their story and played it for somebody because their love story should have been a movie. And I think they knew it too, but it was unbelievable. And I really wish I could share it with you, but I don't know that I would capture all the details accurately and do it justice. So I think I'm just going to keep it to myself for now. But man, they were cool. We also had an old guy who used to come in every morning, like before the sun came up, and he was a Vietnam veteran. He was a Navy pilot, and he was just so goofy. Bald. He was like, had been a ginger in his life, so you couldn't see his eyebrows or his eyelashes, and he honestly kind of looked like a worm. But he was the highlight of my morning every single morning, and he used to come in and say all these ridiculous pickup lines to us, even though he was in his 70s. And if it would have been someone else in a different tone, it would have seemed pervy. But because he knew he was ridiculous and he would laugh when he said it, it just, honestly, it made all of our days. He was just sweet and cute. And when he ended up passing away, we all went to his funeral and we all signed like a decommissioned Starbucks apron and got it framed and gave it to the family. And I wonder where that apron is sometimes. And I hope the family appreciated. I hope it wasn't too weird, but he was a fixture in our store and we absolutely loved seeing him every morning. Let's see. Well, obviously, I got my previous job through an internship through customers at Starbucks. So thanks to that for my federal career. I met my husband. So lots of good things. And I guess I just wanted to throw that out there before I now proceed to basically pull down my pants and take a giant shit over so many other customers. I don't think that there is any better introduction to dealing with humans in society than a customer service-based job. And I know that we've talked about this before, and I know that I'm not saying anything revolutionary, But there were times when I would deal with these people and I thought there had to be cameras. Like, is someone punking me? Who behaves this way in public? And touching back on something that we talked about in a previous episode, I don't know if some of it has to do with an entitlement that might come with a certain access to financial no stress that some people, I assume, had, or what. But I digress. Let me come back to some cornerstone categories of horrible customers. For anyone listening out there who has been a barista at any coffee shop, I think that you will find this to be universally true. If I'm leaving any out, please tell me. And if you have any that you disagree on, also please tell me. Number one, the no foamers. I don't know what type of satanic cult these people have come from, but there's this segment of the population that thinks that if they have foam, someone is somehow like ripping them off from the liquid of their drink. In their mind, foam equals air equals cheap, and liquid equals not air, which equals more value in my cup. And I just feel like if you want there to be no foam, you should order only iced and cold beverages, because foam is created in the process of steaming the milk that heats the milk that makes the stupid fucking drink that you come in and pay $7 for every day. And I get it. If you order a latte and half of the cup is foam, like it's a cappuccino, yeah, that would be incorrect. That would be rude, and that would be worth turning it back in. But it should only have, like, at most half of an inch of foam at the top. And I don't understand why you think that a barista getting paid just like a fart above minimum wage wants to take the time to sit there and scoop all of the bubbles out of your cup. And I also don't know why you think that they would be happy to do that for you. We had one delusional woman that got a no foam drink, and she literally would pick it up, and if she didn't feel as though it were heavy enough, she wouldn't even like take the lid off, take a sip, none of it. She would just go nope and hand it back to the person making her drink. And keep in mind that this bitch used to come in at like peak times during the day. It's one thing if you think that someone made your drink wrong to say, hey, I think this is wrong. Can you fix X, Y, and Z about it? To just say nope and put it back in front of the person that has a line of cups beside them is absolutely infuriating and asinine to me. So, secrets of the trade. We used to get her milk started foaming before she ever even entered the building. I could see her coming through the all glass front of the building. I would see her approaching and I'd be like, time for me to start this lady's beverage. So I would change the milk steam setting to extra hot, and then I would proceed to steam the living shit out of her milk so that it reached very high temperatures that I could then leave sit on the counter while she worked her way through the line, allowing the foam time to separate from the milk, which honestly is gross, but it was the only way to make this bitch's drink so she wouldn't throw her drink back at us. So this started to become our new routine. We also figured out that you could manually override the temperature of the milk if you just like pulled it halfway, the steam wand. So we used to do that, let it ride up, like damn near scorching, but not hot enough that it would actually burn and make the milk taste bad. So we used to do this. And then because not only was her drink order obnoxious, her personality was just all around terrible. I used to try to have the drink done so I could pass it to the register by the time that she got up, so I didn't even have to have a conversation with her at the end of the bar. One of my crowning achievements. She was so delusional that she thought that by me having her beverage ready by the time that she walked in, it meant that I thought that she was just God's gift to mankind, and was like, oh, they know me here. Oh, they always have my drink ready. Read the room. Your drink's ready because I don't even want to take another moment to speak to you. Not a single moment. Because you're a giant pain in the dick. Anyway, I'm sure she's not listening to this. And I'm sure even if she was, she wouldn't think this was her. She'd be like, oh, that must be someone else. It's not, it's you. And if you're a no foamer out there, fine. But just know that like probably your milk has been sitting for a minute to make it separate. And if you dare to say something about that to one of the baristas, I promise you, you'll be getting a decaf drink. Promise you. Next, the only foamers. If you thought the no foamers were bad, the only foamers, they're just as fucking bad. Because do you know why? They also do the fun little, oh, it doesn't weigh the right amount. They do it too, people. The only foamers. Don't confuse them with the extra foamers. Those people, they just, I don't know. They like foam, whatever. It's fine. The no foamers also require only liquid to be in their espresso, and then they want you to proceed to just scoop foam on top of their cup. In order to produce enough foam to fill 16 ounces worth of a cup, do you understand how many pitchers of milk I have to steam and how much milk you're wasting? I mean, it's fine if you want to come in line with a no foamer and then we can just share the wealth, but that rarely ever happens. So, much like my no foam friend, guess what? We also steamed the living shit out of your milk and let it sit so that the foam would separate. But instead of just pouring the milk out and leaving the foam, we scooped all your foam off the top. And then some unlucky schmuck behind you probably got all your no foamy milk, even though they were okay with the, normal order. So congratulations. You're wasting the efforts of a teat of a cow, and you're probably ruining the drink of a person behind you. You're welcome. Also, why do you want 16 ounces of foam? And there's no flavor because you can't mix the coffee into foam that you've scooped on top. That's weird. Why don't you just drink a glass of warm milk? I don't get it. All right, moving on. The quote, I'm in a hurry. These had to be some of my favorite people. I don't understand why it's my problem that you have poor time management skills. Here's all the decisions that you made before you even came into the store, before I even got your drink order, that is allegedly causing you to be late. Number 1, you probably hit the snooze button. Number 2, you probably fucked off at home and took too long to get ready. Or your hair was being crazy. Again, not my problem. Number 3, you probably left your house late because of reasons 1 and 2. Number 4, you miscalculated for traffic. It's also not my problem. And in all of your miscalculations and all of your inappropriate time management, you apparently didn't have time to make your own coffee. So now you apparently have to stop at a coffee shop and get a drink before you go to whatever job you're going to, where I'm sure you're going to make your coworkers just as miserable as you've made me. I lost track of what number I'm on. The next decision that you made is that you came up to a store that you know is busy during peak hours, and you saw that there was a line of cars wrapped around the drive-thru. If you can even count to 10, you would notice that there's a large number of vehicles. Assuming that every one of those vehicles knows exactly what they want and they're only ordering one beverage, I still think you should average 1 to 2 minutes per vehicle in some kind of magic land. But this isn't magic land. It's full of a bunch of other fucknuts like you. So guess what? Those 10 cars in front of you, not all of them are going to know their order. and they're going to take 2, maybe 3 minutes trying to order, and then maybe another minute while they sit there and hem-haw about if they want raw sugar or white sugar or classic syrup or cane sugar in their drink. And all this time, you're back there just fuming. But you know what? You're the one that pulled into the drive-thru lane. Next, you're going to get to the window, the speaker box, and you're going to order your drink. Are you going to do it with some kind of speed? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you're just like all the other fucknuts that can't quite figure out how to order a drink. Hot, iced, size, milk type, flavor. These are key pieces of information. And don't get exasperated at me for asking you what you want to drink, because I promise you, if I make the wrong assumption, you will poop straight in your pants. Next, now you're mad because you're stuck in the drive-thru line. But guess what? I didn't make you go there. It's not my fault. I don't have control over the ding-dongs that are in line in front of you. I can't help the fact that some lady dropped 15 coins in the floorboard of her car, and those are the coins that she needs to pick up and individually count to make exact change to pay for her coffee, because she doesn't care that you're late. And guess what? Honestly, neither do I. So, by the time that you get to the window and you tell me that you're in a hurry and I've made you late, I just want you to know that you've made at least 10 to 15 stupid decisions. And as somebody who's making your drink as fast as they can, doesn't fucking care that you are in a hurry or late. Because you know why? Getting a coffee is not a required service. You aren't going to die if you don't get a cappuccino. Just fucking don't come. Don't go. Or choose to go and be late. But either way, keep that shit to yourself. Pay for your drink. Leave a tip like normal. And then just get the fuck out of the drive-thru. What's the problem? Buy an espresso machine and then leave the baristas alone. Next. These were a special kind of special. There's a whole brand of people that will order a drink because they want to try something new. And I get it. That's cool. Starbucks has a policy that if you don't like it, they will remake it for you. And again, I think that's probably good business practice. Do you know what I don't love? Are the people who apparently need 1/2 to 3/4 of a drink to decide that they don't like it. So Brandon comes up and orders a caramel frappuccino with an extra shot of espresso, gets 3/4 of the way through the cup, and then brings it up and he's like, I don't like this. Brandon, I think that you just want a free frappuccino. Okay? I know what you're doing. You're not surprising anybody. Nobody thinks you don't like it. We all know you're just a cheap fuck and you don't want to pay for a larger size. So you're going to drink 1/2, 3/4, say you don't like it, bring it back up, make me make you something else, and then look at that. You got a BOGO. Good job, Brandon. We hate you. Next. Anyone that orders anything that they see off of a secret menu. When I worked there, it was Pinterest. Praise Jesus that TikTok hadn't come out yet. I think I would have died. The number of times that people walked in and were like, can I get a pink drink? Bitch, I don't know what that is. Granted, nowadays I think they've turned it into something that's actually on the menu and has a recipe and baristas are trained to make. But back in the day, that shit was nowhere. And if you can explain to me the exact number of ingredients and pumps and size and everything that you want in there, fine, I will make you whatever kind of custom drink that your heart desires. But if you walk in that store and name off some type of fruity tooty butthole unicorn drink, I don't know what that means. And if you get mad at me for not knowing whatever kind of weird ass fucking blog you read, you're insane. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I think I still have a lot of rage from my time at Starbucks. And if any of this struck a chord with you and you think I might be that person, I want you to take a step back and reevaluate life. And just imagine, how would you feel if someone said that to you? I want you to imagine that. And if you think that you wouldn't be annoyed, I want you to reflect on how you behave if you think someone cuts you off in traffic. Because if you're not annoyed with that, then fine. Maybe you wouldn't be annoyed. But I just have this feeling that that's not the case. Moving along. I don't think that this is normal coffee shop behavior, but when I worked there were 2 customers who were having an affair in a coffee shop in the middle of the day in a town less than the size of 24,000 people. What are you thinking? They were both regular customers and married. What? First of all, I knew this man as the husband of his actual wife, and they would come in all the time. And then one day, I don't know, he got an itch in his willy and he wanted to stick it somewhere else. And I guess that's fine and not really my business. But I don't understand why you would choose to come make out in the corner of a lobby of a Starbucks in the middle of the day as a middle-aged man. Who's married in a small town, in the shop that you frequent with your wife. Do you want to know the craziest part? Is his wife came in and was like, where was he? I know he was in here. I was like 20 years old. I had no idea, was not equipped to handle this. I will tell you that as a future social worker, I absolutely delighted in the like person-to-person interaction that came out of this whole thing. And it really entertained me for hours. Like, what would possess someone to make this string of decisions? But y'all, that was wild. Can you imagine? It's one thing if you're like in middle school and you have nowhere to be. But like, you're a full adult with a credit card. Go get a hotel room. Cheat normal. I assume he wanted to get caught, but bro, that was bizarre. Last but not least, if you make more money than a barista, don't complain to them about your job. Why would they don't want to hear it? They probably barely want to be there anyway, and they're, depending on how long they've been there, they're covered in like syrup and rotten smelling milk and goo. Don't make it worse. I literally had a physician who would come through our drive-thru, and he had the audacity to tell me that he didn't like his job and it was bullshit, and how dare they call him in. Like, just in order for you to come through the drive-thru, I got up earlier than you, first of all. If you're here and I am answering and I am at the window and I have provided you with a beverage, I got my butt out of bed earlier than you got your butt out of bed, and I'm already at work. And if that's not gross enough, what I'm getting paid for this entire shift is probably not even your hourly wage. So I need you to pack up whatever sort of little temper tantrum that you're having and carry it on down the line to someone who fucking cares. And if no one in your life cares, then maybe, I don't know, pay for some attention from a female, because the amount of sympathy that you're getting from me is zero. The out of touchness of that. I mean, it's one thing to just be annoyed that you're going to work, but I mean, bro, consider who you're complaining to. Ooh, I thought of 2 more. The Sunday churchgoers. Obviously, Starbucks was open on Sundays, and I can't imagine and I cannot tell you the number of people who used to scold me about not going to church. Oh, you should really be going to church. Oh, why aren't you at church? Because, Kevin, I had to make your fucking latte. What do you mean, why am I not at church? Stop. Why are you frequenting a location that requires people to work when they're supposed to be in church? How does that make any sense? Can't. The other ones I hated, we were also open on Christmas. So I would work Christmas morning, and I'd have people come in and be like, I'm so sorry you have to work on Christmas. No, you're not. No, you're not. If you were sorry, you wouldn't be here. Do you know why I have to work on Christmas? Because people like you don't want to be around their family and keep coming in here and buying motherfucking drinks. And if you're going to frequent a location on a holiday, fine. They're open. It's your choice. your one purchase is probably not changing anything, but keep your mouth shut and don't tell them you're sorry because you're not sorry enough. Dumb. The only people that it's acceptable to say that are people who are also working. I was happy to give coffee to law enforcement, nurses, physicians, anybody that had to show up and go into work that day, because it's like, hey, we have some camaraderie here. And if they would have said, I'm sorry you're working today, I'd have been like, yeah, dude, I'm sorry you are too. But if you come into a store in your slippers because you just are bored and then you try to bestow some sort of misguided pity on the workers there, hail to the no. You can pack that shit up and shove it up your butthole. All right. Well, that was a lot of rage. If you saw yourself in any of those stories, I want you to really think about your life and reconsider some of your choices and be nice to people. And the moral of the story is that some customers are great and some customers are terrible, and a lot of them just sort of, I don't know, fade into the distance. But working at Starbucks for 6 years was a formative part of my life, and I still maintain that some of the best, but also some of the very worst people I've ever met were Starbucks customers. And I know legitimate murderers. Okay. Well, as always, thank you for listening. I'm sorry that Kayla wasn't here to balance out some of my fury, and I hope that I haven't scared you away and that you keep coming back, because we love you and we appreciate you, and I appreciate having a location that I can funnel all this fury onto the internet. And please, if any of you have worked customer service jobs, please tell us your stories. Please write us, send us an email. That's writing us, I guess. Shoot us a DM, leave us a voicemail. All the information will play at the end of the podcast and in the show notes, but we want to hear from you so we can share and commiserate together, because I still think that some of the best people in this world are people that have had to work customer service jobs, because we just know. That's it. So until next week, my turkeys. Okay, love you, bye. And see you next Tuesday.